Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Heroes in a Half Shell, Turtle Power. Did you really expect anything else from this intro? Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows is directed by Dave Green, written by Josh Appelbaum and Andre Nemec. A year has passed since the Shredder attacked New York with his Foot Clan. Fern Fenway, played by Arnett, has managed to take in sole credit of taking out the Foot Clan. He gets the key to the city, dates supermodels. He gets courtside seats to Knicks games, and everything seems good. The Turtles prefer to work in the shadows, and that's good with them. But here's the thing: the peace cannot last because Shredder is being transported to another prison. April O'Neil, who is played by Megan Fox, she basically figures out that Walter Baxter, who's played by Tyler Perry, is trying to break him out. Baxter attempts to break Shredder out of jail, a transportation device, and when this all happens, the Turtles try to come to prevent this, but also there is Casey Jones, and he's a prison guard who really gets pissed off when all this happens, and the police don't believe his version of events. When Shredder is teleported, he never really gets teleported to another dimension where he meets Krang, this really evil-looking brain. Krang gives Shredder a mutant component that can help people transform into anything they want. Shredder then recruits Rocksteady, played by Seamus, and he recruits Bebop, played by Gary Anthony Williams. All the while, Casey Jones again is trying to really convey his story, but the police chief, played by Lorelei, does not believe him whatsoever. First and foremost, they managed to correct some of the mistakes that plagued the first film. The Turtles actually have personalities that I could actually discern from one another. They actually act like a family this time around, unlike the last film. Splinter is much more of a father figure, not so much a dick this time around. They use Will and Arnett to really good use. They actually managed to let him loose this time around. And Amell I think is a really good choice to play Casey Jones. They're hoping the fans of Arrow will see this film, so hopefully it can advance his career, I guess. There's actually a scene in which Casey Jones goes to a bar. They're playing music in the background, which is a reference to an earlier film. It's actually, I think, a little bit funny. Tyler Perry's interesting choice to play Baxter. Because here's the thing, he wants to expand obviously out of the Dia stuff. Explanation of the mutant component is actually interesting. Krang is something I've always wanted to see in a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle film. He's actually very creepy. He's voiced by Brad Garrett. There's a battle between Bebop and Rocksteady and our Turtles in an airplane. Manages to get injured. It's actually really bizarre again, and must violate the laws of physics, obviously. Final battle up on the Technodrome, which is an amazing creation. Shredder is actually an actual human being. This time, not a 6 foot tall or however tall he was in the last one. He's not a robot. So Megan Fox is actually a much more tolerable figure this time around in the film. Get into some of the negatives that this film has. First and foremost, as much as I like the fact that they're trying to develop their own personalities, again, in the early moments they have Leo the leader, Wolf the muscle, Donatello the brains, Mikey the pizza eater, and I'm thinking to myself, why do they have that? Why are they showing that text on the screen? Why can't they actually just tell us all this during the film? And again, Stephen Amell, he shouldn't quit his day job in Arrow. It's like, okay, I guess he wants to break out into film, but again, it's like, I haven't seen Arrow, and so basically he's just a blank slate, and it's like, again, it's like when I'm thinking of Casey Jones, I think of Elias Koteas back in the 90s. He was a greedy character in the original film. Tyler Perry's dialogue is truly horrendous. There's some dialogue in which he's really shouting at it. So pretty much clarified that this mutant thing is like really, at Krang's sense, it's really the ooze from the second film. So I'm just calling it the ooze, and it's like, okay, so this thing can transform you into anything. You're all the way back in the Cretaceous or whatever period animal instincts that you have. And it's like, okay, so one is transformed into a rhino, one just transformed into a warthog, and it's like, okay, I don't mind Seamus in this, but it's like, you're not Kevin Nash, who was Super Shredder. We didn't hear Kevin Nash speak at all. Bebop and Rocksteady, all they do are flatulence jokes. It's like they're not threatening. We're actually threatening, which is amazing because I never thought I would say that in a million years. Again, here's another thing I want to point out. It's like, and it's this. The Michael Bayisms, or like the influence of Michael Bay in this film, is more greater than it was in the last one, because here's the thing: John Leesman he directed like Battle of Los Angeles, he directed Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning. He's an accomplished director, but he's able to hold off the Michael Bayisms of this. Dave Green, who directed Earth to Echo, is incapable of doing that. It's just how I feel. Also, I have no doubt Megan Fox can be a good actress. There was a film called Friend with Kids that you should watch. She's actually good at it. But here's the thing: I don't buy her as April O'Neil. So here's my main complaint. First and foremost, was I a Teenage Mutant Turtles fan? Yes, back when I was a kid. Yeah. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to me is the equivalent of a joke that no one gets, but you're in on the joke. And I don't mean to disparage the Turtles in that way, because I get that every generation needs a new iteration of certain characters. But here's the thing: the Turtles started off gritty, then they became a family-friendly franchise. But here's my thing. I'm asking myself this: what would an actual Ninja Turtle be like? The first film directed by Steve Barron, the second film by Michael Pressman. They were gritty in such a way that they were gritty. The third film, which transformed them back into 1600s Japan, that just is an abomination, and you should wisely forget that. The first two films made you feel they were fighting against something. These films, I feel like I know what they're fighting against, but what are they fighting for? Krang is, as much as I think Krang is interesting, it's like Krang was always second banana to Shredder, and it's like Shredder takes a back seat in the final fight, and it's like, okay, the final fight. Didn't we see that previously in the last film? And Appelbaum and Andre Nemec, they wrote Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. They actually have writing experience. But where is that writing experience in this film? I don't know. Joan Allen. Why is Joan Allen in this film? I don't know why she's in it. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 Out of the Shadows takes one giant step forward, one giant step back. So in the end, I'm giving this a ranking of second weekend. I know everybody will want to see this film the first weekend, then I'll drop off the next weekend. But I just say, why rush out when you know this film is just going to be the same thing over and over? What do you think about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows? You think I'm right? Do you think there are some good stuff or some bad stuff, or do you completely disagree with me? So comment down below, let me know, and like and comment and subscribe, and as always, enrich yourself with knowledge, because otherwise, without knowledge, you end up becoming nothing.